What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
and today we are diving into Foundation Season 3, Episode 9, and this one did not disappoint. If you're just tuning in for the first time, welcome. Hit that like button for us if you enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe if you want to continue on this journey with us. A little click for you greatly helps us. And in the comments is where you can join us. This whole show is more of a conversation than it is us being experts. And we love to hear your opinions too. So we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about all the things that happened in episode 9. And we can't wait to hear what you have to say down in the comments below. And we'll see you there. So let's dive in.
So, Magnifico being the true mule, is that completely out of the question now? It feels like it to me.
Still too much of a mystery for me. You know, we jumped. For me, the mule's identity is such an insignificant piece of this episode that I don't even think I registered that piece. Because you get so much more useful information for other characters that the mule was kind of like a backstory for this episode. I feel like he got to shine in episode 6 and episode 7, or sorry, 7 and 8, and then in 9, he wasn't center stage for me. You had Brother Dusk, who was doing some really crazy things. Brother Day also took the back seat because we got to see a bit of his story, but it also got incredibly rushed. And so we have to assume that certain things happened with him. But yeah, so you jumped right to Magnifico. Like, that was the main thing on your mind.
That's the thing that stuck out to me the whole time. Because as we're going through the episode, we've got Gale with Fallon, right? The chick?
You're talking about the warden of tournaments? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know her name, but she's the warden of
Fallon is
tournaments.
what I have for her. So she goes ahead and does her little brain thing, goes inside her, and we see the mule come up from the ground and just fucking rip her apart.
Yeah. And that to me is one of the most fascinating insights into the mule itself. Like I said, his identity to me really took backstage for this episode because we got so much useful information, and that particular scene is one of them. We learned in that scene that the mule's metallic ability is not what we perceived it to be. I believed up until episode 9 that he was just like Gale, that he had the ability to plant thoughts in your head, to make you think a certain thing, to mind control you. Mm-hmm. That's not at all what he does. I'm
not even sure with what he does right now.
I know what he does. It's very clear what he does.
To me, it feels like he goes in and implants the love so much that he creates like a avatar of himself inside of them.
That's just for us as the viewer to see what the battle that's happening.
Okay.
But it is. So what he does is not mind control. It's absolute emotional manipulation to a deep, deep level, to like a core belief level. So instead of saying, I want you to kill somebody, it's you love me so much and you would do anything for me. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's a much more deeper belief shifting of a person, which is why when Gale tries, this is how we know this, because Gale tries to help the warden come back and like kind of bring her out of the control of the mule. But it's not mind control. It's deep-seated emotional manipulation to the point where she believes that love is so pure, she's willing to actually kill herself rather than have herself be saved.
Just subconscious version.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why I didn't quite grasp what the capabilities were. Whether it's him like, hey, he gets a distress signal and he's like, oh, we can tune right in this bitch right now.
He's not technically there. Like that, again, that's for us to kind of like have a visual representation of the dual fight, the polarization. But ultimately, what the mule really does is control your emotion. Mm. And as we know, human beings are not logical. They are emotional. And if you can control someone's emotions, you can control them. And he does it at such a deep belief level that I don't know if you can come back from that without someone with the same ability being able to rewrite your emotions. Gale can't do that. No. Gale can do a lot of cool things that we learned in this episode. She not only can she like project where she isn't, she can go deep into your mind without your permission. And she's so smart that she figured out, just like that we're talking about right now, that it's not mind control, it's emotional manipulation.
Using love.
And so love is her indicator. And so she goes to people's minds and finds the thing that they love the most. Mm-hmm. And that allows her to figure out who's on whose side. And ultimately, we get to realize that Magnifico is the only one of our little group of insurgents that
Is under the control, but can still temper it back if he needs to.
and my thing here is that everyone who loves the mule, right? Like they are obsessed. Like their whole life is dedicated to honoring and loving him. Magnifico is the only one we've met so far who has shown and verbally spoken to love someone else as well. That to me shows that he actually is the mule, and that Magnifico really is the mule, and that the mule we see is actually like it's a shell game that we're seeing. Beta, the mule, and Magnifico are all actually working together, and we only get to see pieces of what's happening because the mule is the front piece. But Magnifico can plant. He has the most emotional manipulation, but he just plants the idea that it's this guy. That's what I believe.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Theory's still good.
Otherwise, he's like the only one strong enough then to resist the love and create love of his own?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's the only clue I have that shows me that he's different than everyone else. Because everyone else, as we've seen time and time again, once the mule's got you, he's got you. Magnifico was able to run away and loves Beta. Two things no one else has been able to do once under control.
Processing.
So to me, either the mule gave him a different type of treatment, or there's a lot more to that character than we're being led on, ultimately to the point where he actually is the one with the powers.
You think the mule, Magnifico in this case, can go ahead and plant those thoughts of love for the fake mule?
I think he's still a mentalic. He's just he has an ability that other mentalics don't have. Kind of like some of them have that more advanced abilities. The mule is one of them. He was born with the ability to not only control minds, but control emotions.
I'm talking about Magnifico.
So Magnifico, Magnifico has the same abilities as a mentalic, and has the added ability of emotional manipulation. So, as a mentalic, he can still plant false memories in your mind, just like Gale did to the Warden.
But what I'm asking is, do you think he did it to himself so that he could fool Gale?
No.
No?
Yes and no. He can fool Gale without having to change his own mind. He's that powerful. That's what I'm perceiving.
Okay.
Is that he's so powerful that he would be, and again, now I'm stretching because I have two clues and I'm going way down a rabbit hole on them. So I think that he's able to let Gale see what she needs to see, right? Gale already had analyzed Pritch, had already analyzed Mallow, had already spoken about how she's looking for love. And then it's like an afterthought to go check Magnifico, right? So he already had the knowledge of what she was looking for and what she was doing. So there's pieces there that make me think, like, if you really read between the lines, he's very different than everyone else still.
Why was he dismissed, though? Because Gale didn't even think to ask him. Someone else had to suggest it.
He was off hiding. I think it was just not something on her mind. She's not used to him being there. She's not used to him or him being around. It was someone else that brings up Magnifico needs to be checked. And she does immediately bring him and check him. But I think she's dealing with the situation that's in front of her. And the people that are in front of her is who she's dealing with. He was off hiding in the light rays on the side there.
All right. So let's move on to the Navacula.
Yeah, so like I said, the whole mule thing is a back burner for this episode because we kick off with, the little bit of knowledge that we get from the mule, but then we dive into a pretty crazy, first 10 minutes of this freaking show where we have a meeting in the throne room, very similar to the previous meeting where they kind of educate or warn. I would say they warn the Empire that they're turning over Trantor. Yeah, informing him that they're going to be turning over Trantor. And
I love how we threw that back in their face.
And in this episode, Demerzel shows up. She is Empire. Very boldly states that she is Empire.
Twice she said that, right?
She does it again in the library when she wants to talk to Callie. But
she seemed so frustrated when she said it. I am Empire.
Yeah, so the throne room, she kind of, where is Empire? I am Empire. And then Dusk pops up. And in a very villainous, the traditional Empire that we know, really, gets his revenge. You want to try to take my planet? You want to try to take my empire? You want to try to ruin my name? I'll destroy everything you love, and kills billions of people. Takes out the entire council, takes out Cloud Dominion, and takes out an entire religion's home planet. Obviously, there's still going to be Zephyrs and other priests and stuff throughout that religion on other planets, but like took out their home worlds. Whoa. Mass genocide is his answer to the Mule and to people being traitorous in his eyes.
And immediately the Mule seemed to be kind of, at first he was giddy. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm getting my stuff from you.
Well, he thought the plan was going his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then immediately Dusk is like, yeah, no, that expired. That was fucking great, though. But after that, the Mule looked worried until he sat there and thought about it for a minute. He's like, if he could have gotten me, he would have.
Yeah. The Mule's we're going to keep calling the Mule for the sake of that, because that's what he is even though we have theories. But the Mule in that scene's reaction to the Empire was that of like disgust. He was, or just disbelief and a little bit of disgust, I would say, that someone would so callously just do that. I think even the Mule himself was like,
you think he's got limits?
yeah, I think even he was like, that's crazy. I wouldn't have done that.
He looked more confused to me.
Yeah.
The fuck's going on?
Let us know what you thought in the comments below about the Mule's reaction to that. Because he to me was definitely dumbfounded. He was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what is that? I think he very quickly realized, though, like you mentioned, that if this weapon was able to destroy him, it would have already done so. My thing is that what good is a Novecula if it can't reach the Mule and the Mule has whisper ships? You just showed your ace card because your ego was bruised, and now the guy who you're trying to keep away and ultimately like fight off, you can't stop him.
Mm-mm.
I was a little like, yeah, it was an awesome scene. We got to see Empire show his true colors. It definitely had me on the edge of my seat when all it was happening. But then I thought about it afterwards, and I was like, what good is that going to do? Like, where else can this move further? Is he just going to destroy more of his own planets inside of Empire so that the Mule can't have them? Because he can't destroy the Mule with it. And now the Mule knows he has it. So he has whisper ships. He can easily poop right there.
What if Beta is really the Mule?
I would be upset.
Really?
Yeah.
What if Beta's really the Mule, and that's why Magnifico has a dual love, and the Mule's still the figurehead?
How does...
That would be the ultimate twist there.
Yeah, I would need a lot of backstory and explainer for me to be okay with that.
Episode 10.
Because, one, we're introduced to her after the Mule's already starting to attack and take over places. Two, we've been introduced to the idea of the Mule since early on, and it's always been someone who's a metallic and someone... It's a male figure, but also we could, if we go with I'm breaking down the logic in my head now. So if we go with the train of thought that it could be the Mule could be a figurehead and that the real Mule could just be hiding, then yes, it could be either gender, it doesn't matter. However, the thing with me is that she shows up later than the attacks that are already happening, and the Mule takes over Calgon, takes over New Terminus, he takes over places where Beta isn't. He uses his ability when she's not present. The only two that are present are Magnifico and the Mule.
Because my idea of motivation for her being the Mule is she is still the sister, the baby that got dropped off, but the one that killed the parents was killed after the guard came back and found that he had killed the parents. And so this is her revenge on everything because of that.
What if Magnifico is the Mule and he's the older brother that we see? Because right now the biggest clue that we have that all of this is not what it says it is Harry multiple times has said to us, and Gale, that the story the Mule gave me doesn't add up. There's something off. There's something missing. There's something wrong with it. Mm-hmm. And so as the viewer, you're going to tell us that so many times, either it's a red herring or you're telling us, pay attention, right? And so if we're paying attention, here's a conclusion I can come to. You have Magnifico, who's the older brother, and Beta's the younger sister.
That's what I said last episode.
Okay. Magnifico really is the Mule, really does have metallic powers. But the Mule that we see today is actually a Foundation soldier that shows up to collect. Now Magnifico knows he has this power, implants the love into him, makes him their protector because they're just still little kids. And now this guy becomes the Mule we know today.
Kind of like a golem in Jewish lore.
Which would make sense why when Magnifico says he saved me really early on, that's what he did. He's been his protector since his parents, because he killed his parents. That guy has been his protector through emotional manipulation. That could be a theory too.
That could still stand even with Beta being the Mule.
Yeah, I know. I'm still struggling with that one. Beta looks way younger than Magnifico does. So she would have to be the younger sibling. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but she wouldn't be the Mule then, because the Mule's the older sibling.
You sure? They don't tell you that's the Mule. They just show you.
So the backstory would have to be very different, because Beta's an infant, a baby, unable to even know what's happening around her.
Okay.
So how would she kill her parents?
I'm not saying she killed her parents. I'm saying the brother still had the same ability, being Magnifico.
I don't think I'm following.
Okay, so the woman killed the parents could still be Magnifico.
Okay.
But she is stronger than him.
So you think they both have mentalic abilities? That would be a crazy twist to find out that Beta's been a mentalic all along.
Both of them would be, yeah.
Well, we know what...
All three would be.
We know...
Based on that.
I don't know. It's hard. Because as a viewer, we have no indication that Beta would have an ability other than she has charisma, right? People naturally tend to like her and love her.
Yeah, the influence. That would help her. Why wouldn't you become an influencer if you had that ability?
So what you're saying is that there are two people that have this ultra rare ability, not one.
Well, it would make sense if they're siblings.
Maybe if they were twins. Yeah. I don't know. We're going way down a rabbit hole. So let us know what you guys think, because right now this is the biggest mystery in Foundation. Who is the Mule, right? And it's been dropped in front of us many, many times that who you think is in front of you is not who you think is in front of you, with multiple characters. So,
all right. So, Day, brother dude,
no longer brother dude. This is the episode he stepped into Day again. Maybe because he's been sober long enough, I'm guessing. Or because every Cleon is raised to be cruel. This is the first time that you actually see the violent side of him. You know, the Sun Master calls him a half man, and he very quickly dispatches him. And then, to put a little icing on top of it, kind of just tosses him in front of all of his people to let them know what happened.
Yeah, first thing I thought when I saw that, fuck yeah, bullseye. Because it lands perfect in the middle.
If he was playing a carnival game, he would have got the big prize.
Yes, for sure. But I thought that was really cool. And it's beyond me how you knew that he was going to do all that.
You don't set up a character that we have known and loved for 2 years to be so different than he normally is if there isn't a deep reason why.
Yeah, but you went straight to it with what he was going to do with Demerzel.
Yeah. Why if you again, you gave me something that was polar opposite. So I'm going to jump there, right? He hated her so much. He had such a dislike for her. He wouldn't even call her a her. And through his journey, he gets to the other side, right? I kind of had that theory very early on.
Yeah, since like episode 3.
My biggest issue is they rushed his sequence. He doesn't know nanites, so he's just a regular strong guy, right? Cleon is a very fit man, right? Like the Emperor himself is strong. He's well trained. He can fight. We all know these things, but he has no nanites. And I now need to believe that after being starved, drugged out, thrown in a hole, and then released, that he had enough power, strength, and wherewithal to push through a crowd of people and then continue to chase their leader through this whole thing past everybody as he's throwing people at him to then catch him and kill him. That part to me was a stretch. And then, like, it seemed too easy. Like, too much of that was like, we're just going to let this happen. And then we get a quick jump from him basically escaping with the head to now being back on the surface. So we don't know, the song help him get out? Like, does he get extra help moving out? How does he move so fast? It was very like written just to be like, okay, now he has the head and he's back. Mm-hmm. And that to me was like, for a character that I've been so involved in and his arc has been so fun to watch, for them to rush that last bit at the end, I was like, I was a little upset, to be honest. I was like, damn, like, okay, I guess we're just going to jump over that. A lot of this episode went to Brother Dusk and the Novacula, which is good. It was a good scene, but I'm struggling with where that goes from there anyway. So now I'm like, well, why couldn't we got more Brother Day? Right? Why couldn't we got more of that? We got so much focus on Gale and what's going on in Terminus and her conversation with Harry, which was very enlightening and fun. But the Brother Day thing felt like it was just an afterthought. Much like the Mule's identity was just like like a back burner thought of this episode as well. And we didn't even see Magnifico for 2 episodes leading into this. And then we got a huge reveal on like, you know, what's inside of his mind and what's going on. And then it was like, we'll just leave that for later. So this episode 9 did a really good job leaving me needing more, which when you got a finale next week, it did its job, right? It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It teed up the climax of the season. And I'm really excited to see where that goes because we've been going theories and mysteries and different things this whole season, and a lot of stuff's coming together, and a lot of stuff is still just a huge question mark.
And Harry wants a new body.
Yeah, we definitely can't close out this episode without talking about what's going on inside that vault. We learned that the vault is a 4-dimensional object, that it is not what we see. It is much bigger and much different, which we kind of grasped after Terminus was destroyed and the foundation was put inside the vault. We learned in this episode how he did it by casting the object out over the planet and then back over, which is also how Gale is going to use that same science to get herself into the headquarters above planet to get to the Mule. But one thing that we did learn, because with all that's the science, and the science doesn't necessarily make sense. I'm not smart enough to make that science make sense to anybody. So I'm just going to go with it. But the thing that we did learn is that this particular version of Harry, this consciousness that lives in the vault, as over time became very bitter, jealous. Like, he is jealous.
Well, he's locked in a cage.
And he realized that he was fine being locked in a cage until he realized there were other options. When Salvor showed up like she wasn't supposed to and gave him all that information, it set him on this path of bitterness. Also, why I believe another reason why he didn't kill the Mule and didn't tell Gale about the Mule and him letting him go is because he's hedging his bets. He wants someone to set him up with a body. He wants someone to give him his next step. He doesn't care if that's Gale or the Mule. I think he's just trying to get himself out of that vault at this point and get his body and get all the knowledge, the exact things he requested. I'd watch out for Vault Harry. He has some very villainous tendencies and is willing to do almost anything to get what he wants.
Yeah. But what was that whole scene with Demerzel in the library when she goes inside Prime Radiant? Yes. So she meets the godlike woman.
Callie.
Yep.
Yeah. So Callie is the scientist from way back when, met her in season 1. Harry's wife, and then we find out Demerzel are the reason the Prime Radiant exists. They were the architects of it. We got a lot, I thought we were going to get some answers, but I got left with a lot more questions than anything else.
Again, episode did its job.
I don't know if they're going to bring us to a conclusion on this one, and that's why I'm concerned. I think this might be a season 4 thing we have to wait for. But Callie, not a robot, confirmed. We know she's not a robot. So she's something else. Because she can open, with the thumb of a finger, open portals to other planets. She's incredibly powerful, but she's not a robot. So what is she?
I have no idea.
And it seemed to me like she was playing Demerzel. She wasn't helping her. She was manipulating her to get her to do what she wanted. It was interesting to me. She wouldn't ever give her a straight answer. She kept giving her more questions. And ultimately, when the whole thing was done, we were left with the understanding that Demerzel was just going to move forward and accept whatever decision her programming lets her do. Because she was so caught up with, am I setting them up in a trap or am I actually helping them? I know I do this, but which outcome do I get? And Callie's basically like, well, we know what the input is, so we know what the output is, so we know what the input needs to be. So she's like, it's a weird conversation that she talks to her about it, like almost in like robot terminology, that leaves us with believing that Demerzel will help the Foundation, but will she ultimately be their ruination? We don't know.
Callie also mentioned stuff about paradox, and I thought she was giving her hints for how she could overcome her programming.
Yeah, that's another day's job. My thought process with the Callie Demerzel situation is that Callie is not there to show Demerzel how to rewrite her programming. She's there to help her move past the bombshell that Vault Harry dropped on her by giving her the Prime Radian. It basically stopped her in her tracks. She doesn't know what to do. Her conversation with Callie allows her to actually start taking forward momentum again, like actually moving in a direction she needs to move. Brother Day is going to initiate a clasp with Demerzel using that skull. And while she's in the clasp, either the clasp itself is going to allow her to rewrite it, or while she's distracted in the clasp, Brother Dude will rewrite it. He will be the pivotal piece before he is taken out of the equation for why Demerzel gets the reset. I'm like on that boat fully now, based on especially after this last episode.
All right.
I really want to know what the hell Callie is. If she's not a robot and she's that powerful, what the hell is she? And is Harry really dead?
Yeah, they pose that question.
Because Callie takes him through the portal while he's still alive to spend his remaining days on Una's world. However, we never get confirmation that he actually dies. So Gale does kind of trick the other Harry into like, oh, I'll talk to him. And then Mind talks to Pritch to tell him, Pritchard, don't let him know anything about the death. But I don't know if he's actually dead. We have no confirmation of that.
Vault Harry seems to believe he's definitely not dead.
Yeah. And the creatures, the mining equipment that Empire turned against the humans on Una's world only attack, which is why when Harry's body shows up and they have to go fly in and get it, those machines are coming to attack him because they sense the organic life. So whatever Callie is not organic. It can't be. And whatever they're doing in that mountain there on Una's world, I'm real interested to see what that is, because that, to me, I think that's like either an advanced civilization or there's something hiding in there that's fascinating, and I want to know what it is.
Do you think Callie is a nod to like the Hindu Callie?
I think that's where her name comes from. Yeah,
Like
the goddess of destruction and death, I think. Yeah, Hindu goddess. I do not think. I'm trying to think if there would be a correlation. The name definitely has the significance, but her character hasn't shown any level of that. If anything, she's a life bringer. Look at that. My memory did work. Go for me. I don't think she's represented death or destruction yet. Right? If anything, she represents life to me. So I don't think so.
She could be, because she sent Demerzel in motion, and we still have that gap where everything's fuzzy, what seems to...
It's not fuzzy anymore. Remember? Because Demerzel was able to see it. It's the black hole.
The future I'm talking about is...
Oh, okay. You're talking about the actual Prime Radian.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because remember, when on the ship, the thing that was fuzzy that Gale could never see, Demerzel could see it because of her robot frequencies.
Yeah, I was talking about the branch.
Yeah, it's the one that's like fraying like that on the end. Yeah.
Like everything is ending.
That's supposed to be the third conflict, right? What Harry thought was going to be the fight between the traitors and the Foundation, but really it's the facing off of Gale against the Mule. That is the third conflict.
All right, I look forward to that. Hopefully that's not going to be a quick little scene.
That is the only concern, right? Is that there are so many bows to tie at this point that can they put enough airtime into Gale and Mule to make it really worth that buildup? Because you have a lot to deliver on now. There's multiple storylines that we are going to need fleshed out. And we only have one more episode to do it. So
Only next week will tell.
that's right. But all in all, man, I'm very excited for Foundation. I love this series. I really do think that they took Asimov's idea and the concepts in his books and turned it into something that was really, really great on screen for us to enjoy. As far as I understand, I've never read the books, but as far as I understand from you amazing viewers, this is like a stretch from the books. There are characters in the books that don't exist in the show, and there's vice versa, and then some prelogs are being brought in and all these different things. But like, so if you were to go read the books, you'd have to like read them out of order and do certain things to get the show to be the way it is. And then, but whatever, I like the show. So let us know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on one of these videos. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.